Hi lovelies, good day and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you're welcome. My name is Uluwato Singh, and to all my returning subscribers, you're also welcome. Thanks for stopping by today's video. So in this video, we'll be learning how to cut this pencil dress with wrap at the front with belt for a child, and the upper part of this dress is going to be like this. Like the upper part is going to have yoke, and then it's going to be turtleneck, and it will be short sleeve just like you are seeing on your screen. And right here is the fabric that I will be using for this tutorial. This is a beaded fabric, and I'm going to be using doll face to line this, and cotton lining is going to be double lined. For the doll face, I'll be using this color of doll face. So the doll face is just going to be underneath like this, and I'll be using this cotton lining as the second lining. And majorly, here are the measurements you need to measure on a child to achieve a dress like this. So we'll start by cutting the upper bodice, which is the half cut. And to cut the half cut, I'm going to be considering a bust. Then I'll add 12 inches allowance. This 12 inches includes allowance for cutting, for zip, for turning, and all of that. I'll fold that into 4. And for the half length itself, I'll be adding 1.5 inch allowance to the half length. So after cutting that out, I folded into 4, just like I said, a half length plus 1.5 inch sewing allowance, then the bust plus 12 inches allowance, fold that into 4, leaving zipper allowance at the back. The next thing to do is to divide a shoulder by 2. So I'm going to be marking a shoulder divided by 2, then I'll be adding half inch allowance because this dress has a sleeve. Then this child's armhole is 12. I'm supposed to mark 6, but at this point I'll just proceed to marking 10. After this, draw our armhole curve, then divide our bust by 4, mark that plus 1.5 inch sewing allowance. Our waistline divided by 4, mark that plus 1.5 inch sewing allowance. For the neck, it's going to be a round neck, front and back. You can see that eventually it is a turtleneck, but for now I'm going to be marking round neck. I used neck width of 2.5. That's 5 when you multiply by 2, and then neck depth of 2.5 for the front and 1 for the back. You mark your round neck. You can now cut it out. Firstly, cut out the front and back neckline, then you cut the front neckline, cut out the armhole, and you cut out the shaping. To mark out the yoke now, on this armhole side of the yoke is going to be 5 inches long, and on the middle it will be 6 inches long, and it is a little bit sweetheart neckline. So just going to mark out your neckline, and then you will mark the 5 on the back, because the back of this dress will be a little bit lower than the front. I mean, when after adding the yoke, like the place where you had the yoke, the back will go lower than the front. I hope that's clear. So cut out the yoke for the front first. Then for the back, I'm just going to bring this back to mark your zip allowance. When you place the front panel on the back like this, you can now mark out your zip allowance, because we are going to be eliminating the zip allowance on the yoke. The zip will not be extended to the yoke, like the zip will not be inside the yoke. It's just going to be on the body of the dress aside the yoke. So after marking out your zip allowance, you mark the length of the yoke, and you can now cut it out. When you are done cutting out, cut out the zip allowance on the yoke, because like I said, it is not needed there. There's going to be hook at that part of the yoke. So after cutting out the zip allowance, we're just going to cut open an arc at the back. Like, you're just going to cut that part where my finger is running across open. So from the up, I measured 2.5 inches downward, and from that side I went inward with 3 inches. Then connect these 2 points together like an arc, just like I'm doing. You can now proceed to cutting out that portion. So when you are done cutting this out, the next thing to do is to transfer this lining 1, which is the doll face, on lining 2. So I placed it on the cotton lining for the rest of the half cut, and then I cut it out. I did the same thing for the front panel. I cut for the back at first. So I placed this on my main fabric, and then I cut it out the exact same measurement for the rest of the half length, not for the yoke, because you're going to be using another fabric entirely for the yoke. I hope that's clear. The next thing to do is now to cut out the yoke on the fabric we are using. So right here is the fabric I'll be using to cut my yoke. So I placed my yoke on the fabric. At the lower part of the yoke, you'll be adding half-inch allowance. This is for joining it to the rest of the half length, and then you just proceed to cutting out your yoke. I cut out yoke for front, one. I cut one for front and then two for back, two for each side of the back, because we are going to be turning that arc that we cut at the back, and then we'll be turning that part where the hook will stay. So we'll be using one chantilly lace to turn the other chantilly lace. I hope that's clear. So I cut two for back and one for front. Now for the pencil part of this dress, you consider a hip, and then you'll be adding 12 inches allowance. So a hip, I'm just cross checking what I cut out, divided by 4, then plus 3 inches. You know, this fabric is on fold of 4 already. So 3 times 4 gives me 12. You fold that into 4, leaving zip allowance at the back. The next thing is to figure out the length. So you're going to put the half length up just like I'm doing. And then, you know, this doll face is the lining. It has to be shorter than the lace. So I made it 3 inches shorter than the main fabric. I can now divide a waistline by 4, mark that. Then a hip divided by 4, and you mark that. Don't forget that you're starting your marking from the front, middle front, not from the zip allowance. I hope that's clear. You connect these 2 points together, and then you just really straight down depending on how fitted you want it to be. I don't want this to be too pencil since it's for a child, so that it doesn't get to stress the child, although this dress is for a child that is 11 years old. So I placed this on the main fabric, which is the beaded lace, and then I just cross-checked the length and I cut out for the back panel first. Because of the kind of lace I'm using, I'm just going to cut out this net part. If yours is not like that, you don't have to cut this part out. I hope that's clear. Then do the same thing for the front. Place it on the main fabric and you cut it out. Hope you know that as I'm placing, my lace is on fold of 2 before cutting, and that is it for the lower part, for the pencil part of this dress. For the back panel, I'm going to be cutting 2 lining, like I'll line the back twice, firstly with the doll face and then secondly with the cotton lining. So I cut cotton lining for just the back panel of the pencil part of the dress. For the wrap, you are going to place the front on another piece of the lace, and then you cut it out the exact thing, because I want the wrap to get to the other side on our body. I don't want it to stop before the shaping. I want it to come from one shaping to the other shaping, and then I proceeded to cut in a pencil sleeve. I'm just going to cut out that lace at the edge of the sleeve. Then for the belt, depending on how long you want it to be, I made mine 42 inches long, and then for the wideness, I cut 7 inches wide, and after turning is now remaining 3 inches. I hope that's clear because I've turned the belt at this point already. So that brings us to the end of the cutting of this dress. In my next video, I'll be uploading how to sew every piece of this dress together from start to finish. So please watch out for my next video for that. I also found this video helpful and interesting. If it has been helpful to you, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And in case you have any questions, don't forget that the comment section down below is always open to welcome your question. In case you are not subscribed to this channel, kindly do, and don't just subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you can get notified when next I upload new video on this channel. I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye.